Story 1. Save your money. Try harder in school. Do not waste any more time on people that do not have your best interest. It does not always get better and not everything is always worth it, so choose wisely. Story 2. I wish I knew at 19 that failure isn't the end of the world and it's just part of the process. I spent too much time stressing about getting everything right, whether it was school, work, or relationships. If I had known back then that messing up is how you grow, I would have been a lot kinder to myself. Story 3. That the death of a grandparent counted as extenuating circumstances to withdraw from a class past the withdrawal date. I spent years repairing my grade point average. Story 4. Practice good posture before you start getting neck pain. Real estate isn't going to get less expensive. Invest as much as you can early on in a 401k or index fund. Don't stay at a bad job. Alcohol is fun until it's not. It's better to learn how to be social without it, so when it's not fun anymore, you know how. Story 5. You've been alone since you were 12. Don't join a group of people just because you're desperate for a support system. You've been taking better care of yourself the last 10 years than most people are capable of doing in their 30s and beyond. You're going to be fine on your own. Apply to whatever schools you want to apply to, and everything else will work itself out. Also, work wherever you want. No one is going to care where you worked in college. Study because when you learn to learn, it's actually kind of fun. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Stop being scared of debates. Don't stop respecting and accepting people. No one will value it but you, but it will keep your heart peaceful. Story 6. That everyone else is just as clueless as you are. Stop waiting for the right time. Take risks, try new things, and don't worry about looking stupid. The world rewards effort, not perfection. Story 7. If I could talk to my 19-year-old self, I think this is what I would say. Trust your instincts. You do not need to change yourself to impress anybody. Have a little more faith in yourself. The way you are is the way you will wish to be years down the line. You do not owe anything to anybody but yourself. You do not need the validation, the approval, and not for a second should you allow them or anything they say or do to govern how you are feeling. Let go of anything that is not working out for you or does not feel right. It may seem like the end of the world, but I promise you it is not. You are much better off without the disrespect. Do not stoop to a level where you start disrespecting yourself because that becomes your new and only known reality. You are kind, you are smart, you are talented, and you do not give yourself enough credit. Leave, kid. Leave all of it. Be alone for a while instead of running towards people who are bad for you. You are going to be okay, you do not need them. I promise you, you will find your tribe in due time. Do not lose faith, do not give up. Tomorrow is going to be better. Keep practicing your guitar skills, work on those designs you like so much. Finish your assignments because I know you enjoy all that academic validation. Hang out with friends who truly care. I know it's hard right now. I know the lockdown destroyed most good things in life, but look up, please. Do not settle. If there is anything that even remotely hurts or any situation where you feel the slightest hint of uneasiness, get up and walk away. Please do not lose yourself, please, please do not lose yourself. Story 8. It's okay if your band doesn't make it. You're still going to make a living being creative. Stop surrounding yourself with those who don't share the same passion you do. There are so many others who are passionate about creativity and are not pretentious. Story 9. Make an effort to stay in touch with friends you want to stay in touch with. Unfortunately, most people do not take the initiative, and many friendships fade because neither party reaches out. Story 10. That you don't owe anyone sex of any kind, ever, and that sex is not transactional, and that any person who makes you feel otherwise is a complete loser. Story 11. Teaching is a terrible career choice. Make money. Forget people. They will use you until you are a dried-out husk of humanity who is barely recognizable. They will underpay you, and then you'll be 40 and unable to fix the drywall in your townhouse you can barely afford. Then some wealthy individuals will take over Florida and force you to teach whatever nonsense they think you should be teaching, so you'll just be their poorly paid propagandist. For goodness sake, just make money. Forget helping people. Make money and learn a useful skill. No one appreciates helpers. They appreciate money, Edit. Also, leave Florida. Don't buy a townhouse in Florida and become attached to your community. Make money. Forget people. Leave Florida. Story 12. Life is so much longer than you think, and the years go by so fast. Prepare for the future, but don't forget to live in the moment. And love those closest to you like crazy. Story 13. 1. Life is too short to care about what people think. People make mistakes all the time, and no one is perfect. If you mess up, don't be too hard on yourself. Learn from it and move on. Growth only happens if you admit to it, even if it's just a little. It's okay to gain work experience first before deciding on what you want to pursue. Not everyone with good academics ends up with good careers. Don't compare yourself with others based on their social media. People lie all the time on social media to make their lives look good. It's okay to seek help from professionals, and it's okay to keep personal secrets from family and friends regarding your mental health. Not everyone is going to be accepting of your issues. It's okay to separate from your friends because no friendship is going to stay the same forever. Everyone will want different things in life. Story 14. Hey buddy, it's me, you. Listen, you're 19, and if today is your birthday, it was probably pretty disappointing. You failed out of university, you're working at Gerald Stevens, and you're enrolled in community college. You saw your folks freak out, and you're probably going to start seeing a therapist soon. It's okay, he's a nice guy, and you're going to learn you're pretty smart. But here's the thing, you're autistic. When you went away to university after your intense high school experience, you were released from a very structured, strict, disciplined education. You played StarCraft and Final Fantasy VII until dawn, slept all day, and gamed all night. Everything you're doing is called autistic burnout. You were so compressed, so beaten into something resembling a conduit, and optimized for maximum learning, maximum performance. The moment you broke the daily schedule, everything collapsed. And I mean everything. That's autistic burnout. You worked so hard for so long, and now you're admitting it's untenable. Everything became dysregulated in ways you'd never experienced before, and you fell into the trance, and no amount of strength would work to restore you. Those cans of pastry that you crack, and it explodes into a fluffy mess? That's you. You are a fluffy mess. Keep going to the gym, it'll give you structure that will help guide you back to where society requires we all be. Semi-scheduled. Talking to the therapist will be good, but don't bother bringing up autism. You're masking like it's your livelihood, because it is, and you're looking for solutions to the things rather than awareness that the things are you, not problems, just a different way of doing things, like calling people brother for no particular reason. Story 15. After high school, the way you interact with the world will completely change. Things stop happening to you, which means the only way things happen is if you make them happen. I spent so much time assuming things would happen because I wanted them to, such as a partner, career, and friends, but wanting them is not enough. You have to pursue them. Story 16. I wish I had known not to touch my investments to pay for college. I have never used my degree and blew through all my investments my grandfather had set up for me. Story 17. That the anxiety really will not last forever, at least not as badly. That's not advice I could give to everyone, but one day it just kind of stopped being as brutal, became more livable. I lost my little brother in 2015. He was 18, I was 19, and it sent me into a spiral. It kind of ignited this deep-rooted anxiety in me. I didn't leave the house, I never saw my friends, and my relationship fell apart. Maybe it was some realization of mortality that I hadn't had to deal with until then. I realized by 23 that I couldn't change what happened and that I had to keep going. So I got sober, pushed myself through. I'm 5 years sober now, and life is good. 19-year-old me, don't keep believing this will ruin your life. It won't go away, but it will get easier. Story 18. Well, I am 19 now, hope it counts. Don't waste hours on social media. It will do nothing for your future. Pick up hobbies that will make you skilled. Also, learning other languages helps you exponentially. Story 19. Get copies of your medical and school records. Take fewer classes. Get a part-time job and save. Keep up with the languages, you were actually okay with those. Get a social life outside of your family and significant other. Maybe join a club. The school sees your records. Be really careful in the next several years. Stop complaining online. Don't consider therapy private. Maybe don't dump your support system. Your old best friend went through a lot. Hugs and chocolate. Story 20. I wish I had known how important it is to get your paperwork organized. Keep all your important documents handy, such as birth certificates, tax returns, identification, insurance, and more. It makes life so much easier than scrambling to find them when you need them. Story 21. Your boyfriend or girlfriend's criticism and their opinions about what you should be and how you should act are worthless. They are as young and clueless as you are, projecting their self-doubts onto you. Letting them chip away at your confidence will only hold you back. Story 22. If you just save 10% from when you get your first job, you will retire okay, if not wealthy. Compound interest is magic. Even if you make $3 an hour at 16, save 30 cents, 10% per paycheck. I grew up and my first job was in the mid-80s. Believe it or not, you will be a millionaire by 50 and a multimillionaire by 60 to 70 in a big way. I worked with people who I talk to every quarter who still have never made more than $65,000 at the counter at Grainger. People ask for a light bulb and you hand it to them. That's the job in a way. They are at 30 years of employment and have $10 million, and they are only 50 and still working. They might have $30 million in 15 years. Start early to save. Your older self will thank you. Story 23. That I could have saved my teeth by just flossing, my back by just not sitting slumped for hours on end, and my ears by just not standing in front of the speakers at concerts without earplugs. Actually, I did know all those things, just hadn't internalized them. If every kid could spend a day in their older body, we'd all do a lot better, I think. Story 24. I wish I knew how important it is to focus on personal growth and not just chase external achievements. At 19, I was so caught up in what others expected of me. But realizing that taking care of my mental health and building meaningful relationships matters more in the long run would have made a huge difference. Story 25. You will have the chance to transfer schools and stay in Boston or go to Washington, D.C. The programs are equally good, but Washington, D.C. is a better place for your goals. Girl, go to Washington, D.C. and don't wait for your now recently ex-boyfriend to call you. He won't. Go to Washington, D.C. Story 26. Start building your credit now instead of waiting. Get an entry-level credit card, make a few purchases each month, and pay off the balance in full. I waited until after college to do this, and as a young professional, having a low credit score and limited credit is far from ideal. Story 27. Having a child at this age won't be easy. I should focus more on school and work and pursue a career that truly makes me happy and passionate. It's better to follow my own path rather than something my parents have instilled in me, especially if it ends up taking a toll on my mental health. Story 28. Drink a lot more water and put on sunblock every day. Do stretches regularly and train your flexibility to the point where you can do a full squat with your heels still planted firmly on the ground while your back is still straight. Story 29. It's okay to take a gap year to explore Europe. In fact, there is no better time for me. It's okay to fail. Sticking to something and even getting a C is better than thinking the world has ended. Get the number sooner, idiot. You're missing out on some play with that. Nobody cares. They have their own problems. All your peers have no clue either. They're faking it just like you. Yes, even the ones that look like they can party all night and still make it. They're struggling in some way too, so it's okay. Invest in Apple or something similar. Netflix too. Don't get too caught up chasing one girl ever. Your body is in the best shape ever, and you will succeed way more than fail if you simply go out and focus on having fun instead of staying in your head. Leave your ex alone. She will get involved with your cousin and is not worth it. Plus, she gets pregnant early, and it's best to let that go. Take chances often. Story 30. Do not opt for random roommate selection. During my freshman year, I changed rooms 3 times because each time I moved, I ended up with someone else's problematic roommate. Roommate 1 made inappropriate jokes about suicide and used offensive language. Roommate 2 did not shower for 5 months and left menstrual blood on the toilet. Roommate 3 accused me of poisoning her just 2 days after meeting her. It was quite a disaster. Story 31. It was the darkest time in my life when I was 19. I lost the closest family member a few months ago. I failed my college administration exam. It is a big deal in China, and went to a college that I never knew about. I broke my back while playing sports and had to lie in bed for months. I was betrayed by friends and in relationships. I was looked down upon by senior classmates too. I was aimless and lost interest in everything. The list can go on and on. But I want to tell my younger self that, like how my older brother cheered me up, the basketball has to be hit hard to bounce up high. I literally cried while writing this. You will get through this, you will find lifelong friends and a loved one, you will regain the passion for whatever you love, and get accepted by one of the top graduate schools in the United States because you are tough and never give up. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Be tough in life, never stop fighting.